Mark, Delegate Miley says the state could potentially face another difficult financial year, especially when it comes to passing a budget the lawmakers can agree to.
Well, I have a number of concerns, starting with we didn't do anything to fix the structural problem. And the structural problem that everyone refers to is the revenue that comes into the state. And we've done nothing to make sure we have a consistent stream or increased stream of revenue to come into the state. And so because we didn't do anything about that this year, we will indeed have to do something about that next year.
Miley says the current budget isn't based on hard numbers.
Our budget was balanced on estimated revenues that we anticipate coming in during this next fiscal year. If those are not met, then we're going to be in another hole before we even get back to the legislature in January. And so we're relying on an awful lot of hopes and anticipations and promises of things to happen that if they don't happen, we're going to be in trouble.
While Delegate Miley says there's no quick fix to the budget issues, there is an idea on the table.
We're trying to pass legislation that would create a pool of money to be applied towards technical and community colleges.
Miley says he hasn't spoken to Governor Justice recently, but plans to visit with him this summer to clear up any differences between the Democratic Party and the governor. I'm Gretchen Ross reporting from Clarksburg for Inside West Virginia Politics.
And when abuse happened to me, I was very dumbfounded. I had never been around anything like that, so I kept it a big secret.
Harrison County native Vicki Carrero says she was not in one, but two abusive relationships over a span of 10 years.
I feared for my life. There was broken bones.
With the help of friends and Hope Incorporated, Vicki and her children were able to start a new life.
We left in the middle of the night with nothing but our lives and the clothes on our back, and went to the shelter, and we lived there for 6 months until I was strong enough to get our life started again.
The road to recovery wasn't easy.
I didn't know of any services. I really felt very alone. And the way abuse works is they do isolate you from everybody as much as they can.
According to the National Domestic Violence Abuse Hotline, on average, it takes a victim 7 attempts to leave a relationship before staying away for good.
People would look at me and say, just leave. They didn't understand how it worked. That's so much easier said than done. You can't just leave.
With assistance from Hope, Vicki filed multiple times for an emergency domestic violence protective order, like this one, with the magistrate's office.
And were they granted?
Some were, and I can honestly say sometimes that piece of paper really didn't make him stay away from me. But I'm also not saying to not go and get them. It's individual.
After the emergency order was granted, the next step for Vicki was to appear for a hearing in a family courtroom similar to this one.
Because you are in a room with your abuser, and it's very intimidating. You don't want to make eye contact. Well, the judge will ask individual questions, and I will tell you, sometimes it's very scary to be completely truthful about what happens because you know that your abuser is sitting there taking mental notes.
Vicki was granted a lifetime domestic violence protective order, and she divorced her second husband. He has since died.
I was powerful over what was happening in my life when I felt powerless.
Today, Vicki is remarried with a new baby and a total of 7 children between her and her husband.
There is definitely life after domestic violence. You have to be diligent, you have to be strong.
Vicki shares her stories with victims to show there is a way out of the domestic violence cycle.
The trust in the system and know that maybe not this time, but next time. And you have to just keep a paper trail. You have to fight. You have to fight for what you want.
Reporting for 12 News, I'm Gretchen Ross.
Go big or go home? Well, we're going big.
After years of discussion, the city of Clarksburg purchased the Robinson Grand Theater and adjacent properties for $430,000 in 2014.
Driving force to revitalizing your downtown centers around the culture and arts.
Clarksburg architecture firm WYK was hired, and March West & Company is working on the construction.
Projected cost is $15 million, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but we have to keep in mind that we've done a silent campaign targeting foundations and large corporations.
Mayor Goings says $2 million has been raised, and historic and new market tax credits will generate an additional $7 million.
95% of the demolition of the interior is completed, and a lot of people have noticed that the marquee has come down.
State-of-the-art lighting. We have LED reader boards, so very unique
as far as any marquee, not just in West Virginia, but really in the country.
Walking inside, the foyer is under construction. The theater seats are gone and will be replaced with 970 ADA accessible seating. Heading upstairs.
Continue to have a ballroom as well as additional rooms where we can hold classes or business meetings.
Heading up to the roof.
Cleaning and repointing the masonry, which has 90 years of dirt and grime on it.
And outside next to the theater.
Dressing rooms and star dressing rooms. Also a new loading dock.
Mary Going says the project is on schedule for a soft opening in spring of 2018 with a grand opening in the fall. She says she already has a wedding reception on the books.
We hope to attract people from other states as well as throughout the state of West Virginia. So our goal here is big.
For West Virginia Tonight, I'm Gretchen Ross.